I'm actually in Toronto for a couple of reasons. I'm doing these shows, and that was important, but we're also having our high school dropout reunion. Nobody's doing good. It was so bad we had to have it in Oshawa. If you're not from Canada, Oshawa is an Ojibwe word that means methamphetamine. It ain't good. Who's got kids here? Kids, round of applause. There you go. I've got a kid, she's at the age where she cries over everything. Everything. I don't want to go to school, cries. I don't want to do my homework, cries. I don't want to eat vegetables, cries. This is going on for months. Finally, I had enough. I snapped. I go, if you keep crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. And she kept crying. So I divorced her mom. I blindsided my ex when I asked her for a divorce. She was like, what? Why? Because she's not happy. I'm not happy. She goes, I'm not happy either. This is a marriage, not an amusement park. I said, I know. But I want to ride the rides. I deeded my ex-wife the house. I said, you keep the house. She's raising our daughter in that house. I just wanted to be stable, you know? So I said, you keep the house. And she said, yeah, no shit, I paid for this house. I was like, all right. I didn't know it was a pissing contest, all right? I paid for the fridge, you can keep the fridge. I got the divorce dad special. You know, the dimly lit, sparsely furnished apartment, close but not too close, you know? Close enough I can be there in an emergency, but not so close that she can just roll up and find one of the PTA moms parked in front, you know? And when I say dimly lit and sparsely furnished, I mean sparsely furnished, boy. I got a couch, a coffee table, and a 42-inch fucking Westinghouse TV. And one piece of artwork. You need that one piece of artwork when you're starting again in your 40s, you know? I don't got that one piece of artwork. I look like a 40-year-old guy that just got out of rehab. But if I got that one piece of artwork, maybe I'm a minimalist. I bring somebody over to the house, she goes, oh yeah, I can see what you're doing here. It's a lot of space. And I'm like, yeah, I like to keep my apartment like I keep my ladies. Barren inside. What I mean by that is age appropriate, all right? Jeez, I'm 45 years old. You know? I don't always feel 45. You know, I forget. I'll be at the gym working out. I got a pump on. Some young 20-something will walk by in a tight pair of yoga pants. And my head will follow. And I'll be like, oh. And then she'll look at me, looking at her, and she'll be like, ew! And I'm like, oh shit, sorry, I forgot. I forgot that I'm a disgusting old man now. And that you were born after I dropped out of college. Is your mom around? Who do you look like? You look like your mom or your dad? Your dad still identify as a man or what? What are we? He's having a good time. She wants to leave. All right. I remember when I was 20, and I'd see a guy in a sports car drive by with a little bit of gray in his beard, a little gray in his hair, and I'd be like, oh, that guy's having a midlife crisis. Because I was 20, and I didn't know how life worked. Yeah? But now that I'm a little more aged, I'm a little wiser, I'm like, oh, that guy's not having a midlife crisis. Maybe he just finally got enough money to have the fucking car he wanted. That's not a midlife crisis at all. Dropping your kid off at school in an Uber and then jogging home because you can't afford a car, that's a crisis. I'm in fucking crisis right now. My buddy, also divorced, also is a dad. He just got a 4-door Porsche. You know what I'm talking about? The reverse mullet. We all know the mullet, right? Party in the back, business in the front. The 4-door Porsche is the reverse mullet. Party in the front, nagging responsibilities in the back. That's not a midlife crisis. That's a single mom magnet. They see that car, they look in the back seat, they're like, oh my God, he's already got the car seats pre-installed. This guy's going places, right? That is not, can we put crisis back in midlife crisis? I'm a 45-year-old man with heart problems and no health insurance in America. That's a fucking crisis. Jesus. I've got heartburn all the time now. That's the other thing. Nobody tells you this when you turn 40. You blow the candle out on the cake, and the flame jumps to the middle of your chest and stays lit like the pilot of a furnace. It never goes out. I'm at the doctor. I'm like, Doc, what can I do about this heartburn? He goes, have you tried giving up chocolate? Coffee, soda, red sauce, citrus, pizza? I'm like, Doc, that's all the major food groups. What do I got left? Cheese? I was like, no, Doc, I've already given up alcohol, weed, and my dreams. I'm not giving up pizza. I'll just wonder if I'm having a heart attack every day for the rest of my life. Wonder if it's the vaccine. If it is, don't tell my cousin. I can take dying from the vaccine. I can't take him being right about it. You know? Walking around my funeral in a loud whisper, I told him not to get the shot. I told him not to get the shot. You guys ever think about killing anybody? Woo! We got a couple clappers in here. Yeah. And this is Canada, too. There's no real weapons. That means you're bludgeoning them with something. Like one of your kids' participation trophies. You know, fucking strangling them with a fist place medal. I just like... But not everybody clapped. There's no claps up front. You guys never thought about killing anybody? Are you serious? You never saw a guy out in public playing music over a loudspeaker and just thought about giving him a little hip check in front of a garbage truck? You never thought about that? Somebody sees you do it too, they're like, oh, thank you for your service. Thank you. All right, let me ask this question in a different way. Ladies, round of applause if you guys listen to true crime podcasts. Hundreds of hours of research, you never thought about putting any of that into effect? You never thought about how you can make your boyfriend disappear? Huh? Where are the married people here? Married people, clap, round of applause. There we go. You never thought about killing him? 10 years of sleep apnea ripping right in your ear, just... You never thought about suffocating him with one of the 15 pillows? The cops come, and you're like, officer, he was just so fat and drunk. He suffocated in the memory foam. Maybe you never thought about killing him, like in cold blood. But you've at least wished death upon them a couple of times. You know, like they're choking on a meatball or something. They're just like... Right? You're like, oh my God, here it comes. It starts getting deep, right? His eyes are bulging out. He's like, oh! You're like, amazing grace. You know, he's going, you're interior decorating the kitchen. You're like, oh, maybe a canary yellow in the backsplash over here. Gonna get rid of that recliner. It finally clears. He's like, ah! And you're like, fuck. And he's like, why didn't you do anything? Like, oh, I was just paralyzed with fear. Well, he is a good father, you know. Oh, fuck, I think about killing people all the time. Every time I come home and I don't have my daughter, I open the front door. I'm like, please let there be a knife-wielding maniac just waiting for me in the dining room, you know? I want to see the look on his face when I close the door and lock it. It'd be like, oh, buddy, I've been waiting for you. Oh. Alexa, play Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. I've been paying credit card minimums for 4 years. It's time for somebody else to pay. Sometimes after shows, I get like Instagram followers, and sometimes I get recommendations for therapists. And I accept them both. But I'm not going to therapy. This is all I got. Whatever I got stirring around in there is all I got. I'm not trying to get well now. My whole act will be garbage. You ever see a fat comic go on Ozempic, lose 100 pounds in 45 minutes worth of material? You gotta start from scratch. I got a lot of mental illness in my family. Anybody else? Hey, all right. I got a lot of mental illness in my family. Didn't spring that on the ex-wife till the pregnancy screening. They're like, any history of mental illness? I was like, get your popcorn ready. My mom's mom died in a nut house. My mom's brother is a murderer. My dad's brother killed himself. My ex-wife was like, damn. Anything else? I was like, oh yeah, boatload of schizophrenia. Like the subway at rush hour. Listen, crazy's not too bad. You gotta take the pills. You gotta take the pills, and you gotta talk to somebody. Other than the voices in your head. They might be talking to you right now. Kill the comedian, he knows. He's on to us. I can kill him. Don't let him leave. I'm not crazy, but I ain't right. You know? I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic, you know, a little bit of a narcissist with a low self-esteem. A little bit of a manic depressive thing going on from time to time. Basically, I'm a creative. Nothing a cold plunge and a fistful of blueberries can't take care of. Yeah. But schizophrenia, boy, oh, that's the monster. Go on YouTube, Google what do they hear. Oh. It's like all the worst parts of that movie Insidious on a loop. It's just like, they're all watching us. They're trying to poison us. You're never going to amount to nothing. Your mother's trying to kill us. It's like having a drunk, abusive stepfather in your head, you know? They're never positive. They're never trying to build you up. They're never like, you can do it. We believe in you. You just got to apply yourself a little more. You really look nice in salmon. Or maybe they are, and that's how champions are made. Just constant goal-oriented schizophrenia on a loop, right? Just like, you can do it. Come on, 5 more push-ups. You got this. Sprint, sprint, sprint. You want to go home now? No, 5 more push-ups. Come on. Don't you want our Father to love us? Come on, you can do this. Fuck that basketball coach. He don't know nothing. 500 shots. We don't leave the gym before you shoot 500 shots. You need the ball in your hands. You got to win this game. Fuck Scottie Pippen. Republicans buy shoes too. I'm all about equality, but you got to give credit where credit is due. And ladies, you're just better than men. At mental illness. You didn't let me finish. Oh, you see it all the time. You go out into the fucking streets tonight. But you'll see these guys out, right? You see these guys that are mumbling around, acting all fucking stabby. You're like, oh God, let me cross the street. And you'll see a woman acting mentally ill, and sometimes they're violent. But it's lady violence. All you gotta do is put your hand on their head and let them punch it out, right? Oh, you're like, you done? No? All right. We can wait. But sometimes, you know, when you see them on the street, they're just hypersexual. I was visiting my dad. He was living in a shit building. He had to take an elevator all the way up to the top. And a woman gets on, and she was clearly mentally ill and probably addicted to something, right? And she looks at me and she goes, "Do you want to see my tits?" And I was like, "Yeah." Free? Yeah. Of course. Right? And so she flashed me, and she's like, "Ah!" And she had like those little skinny titties. It was still cool, right? And then she pulled her shirt down, and we waited for 5 floors in complete silence. And then the door opened, and I was like, "Hey, have a good night." And then, and then I told my brother, I was like, "Yo, bro, that was the best elevator ride of my fucking life. I gotta visit more." You know? It's great. It's great. Women are just better at mental illness. And there is no better example than Kanye West and Britney Spears. Both of them completely fucking insane for the world to see. All on social media. You know, you see Kanye, he's on X, acting like a crazy N-word. Nazi. Come on. This is... You see Kanye acting like a crazy Nazi? He's wearing a hoodie with a swastika. I'm like, dude, do you know you can't join? Have you done any research? Or am I wrong? And Nazis have gotten significantly more progressive. Like, do you know what we need in order to help us spread the hatred of the Jew? Black Star Power. Find me Kanye West. You need a fundraiser? And then you got Britney Spears. We've all seen Britney Spears on Instagram. You know? The only thing you see on Britney Spears' page is titties and bad choreography, right? Little happy faces over her titties. Oh, man. I like a free pair of titties, but even Britney is like, oh. You fucked up freeing her, ladies. You fucked up. Her dad had her in bed, working. All the sharps were away. And you're like, free Britney. And now look at her. Look what you've done. The problem with Britney Spears and her mental illness is at first glance you could almost mistake it for feminism, right? You'd be like, it's her body, she can do what she wants. And normally, I would agree. However, Britney Spears has 2 teenage sons in high school in America. And I don't know what the recipe is for a school shooter. But having your high school jerk off to your mom's crazy titties might be one of the ingredients. Oh, God. My landlady's racist. We got any renters in here? No renters? Are you serious? Oh, I was gonna say, this is Toronto. I didn't see that many Asians in here. We knew who'd be owning them. Keyport, New Jersey is a nice little blue-collar, working-class American city. And by blue-collar, working-class American city, I mean nice, quiet Mexican families. They're quiet because they're illegal. They don't want that smoke. Yeah? And you got black guys walking pit bulls. and white guys walking pit bulls. Just a lot of pit bulls in this blue-collar, working-class little town. Right. So I go to rent this place, and the woman, old Irish white lady, probably 60, she looks at me, she goes, "You sure you want this place?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." She goes, "All right, let me clear my next appointment." Her next appointment was walking up. They were not a white family. Their pit bull was white. But they weren't. And she goes, "The chair's if you want it." And then she texts me, she goes, "Hey, just so you know, my other tenants are African American, but I'm getting rid of them." She texts me that. So I reported her to New Jersey Fair Housing. No, I'm kidding. I took it and fell behind on my rent immediately. That's the only way she's gonna learn. You shouldn't judge people by the color of their skin. You should be judging them by their credit score. And I'm a 472, bitch. You fucked up. I don't even know what that translates to in Canadian credit, but it ain't good. My place is horrendous. My kid comes over, she's like, "Oh." She's leaving her mom's place, my old house. It's decorated, it's furnished, it's warm in all the rooms. She comes to my place, it looks like it was decorated by a Ukrainian refugee. It's like, "We left everything in the old country, we begin again." She comes in, she's looking around, she's like, "Oh." She opened up the fridge, she goes, "Oh, Dad, are you broke?" And I said, No. We're broke. Daddy and daughter. Tuesdays and every other weekend, kid. Now, who wants a butter sandwich? Oh, you guys never had a butter sandwich before? Got all the major food groups. Bread and butter. What else do you need? You guys ever do Freezer Burn Friday? When you're so broke, you gotta go digging in the back of that ice box. You're like, "Oh shit, I know I got something back there." You're just chipping away at that ice like an archaeologist. Like, fuck. He's like, "Dad, I'm hungry." He's like, "Yeah, wait a minute. You get something out of there so unrecognizably freezer burned, you don't know what it is until it's in the pan for 5 minutes. You're like, "Is that chicken? Is that pork? I don't know." You got that freezer burn smoke coming off it like a sci-fi movie. 5 minutes in, I'm like, "Baby, it's fish. We're having fish." And she's like, "I miss Mom." I know. You're gonna see her again soon. Listen, I'm gonna get you a new mom, all right? We're gonna get you a stepmom. Stepmoms are great. You're gonna love a stepmom. You know what the best part about having a stepmom is, kids? She's like, "What?" You can steal from them. Hey, just go in their purse. Fuck, who cares? You guys ever feel like you're failing as parents? Oh, buddy, Jesus, this is... Oh, man. I understand my father so much better now. Like, oh, this is hard. We'll be out at a diner with another family or something, you know, and their kids will be sitting there all patient and polite. My kid will be in the aisle twerking. Only she's a little white girl, so it looks like she's getting electrocuted, right? She's just like... Is she stepping on a wire? What the fuck? I gotta pretend like that don't fly in my house. I'm like, "All right, last song, kid, wrap it up." Their kids are ordering vegetables. My kid hasn't eaten a vegetable since August. We were having a fight over a red pepper. I was like, "Just eat the red pepper." She goes, "No, Dad, my body belongs to me." I said, "What? That's not the reason I fucking read you that book. I read you that book in case your soccer coach tries to tickle you. Eat the red pepper. Shut up. Got it. How long do you guys think is a reasonable amount of time to introduce your kid to somebody that you're dating? Obviously, I'm talking to the divorced person. 1 year. That's how some of my friends feel. Some say 6 months, some say 1 year. I think when they're adults. Like she comes home from college, I'm like, honey, come in here. I want you to meet somebody. This is Marie. I've been dating her since you were 9. Remember when you used to come home and you thought you heard scratching in the walls? That was Marie. Your mom dropped you off early and pushed her in the closet. She's like, I love watching you grow up through that little crack. Don't worry, you can steal from her. Don't worry about it. I got a girlfriend now. But I was out there fucking about, dating, you know. I had to start wearing condoms again. Oh. In your 40s, dude? You think condoms suck when you're 25, the first time that you hook up with somebody? You should see when you're 40. Oh, man, putting a condom on that second go-round in your 40s? It's like trying to get a coat on a kindergartner. You're like, yo, stand up straight. You're embarrassing me, man. Quit fucking squirming. Quit fucking squirming. He's never like this. He's... Too much sugar. You know how it is, right? Fucking shut the... Whoa. God. Oh. This is for the parents. You guys ever let your kids jump around in the fuck sheets? Sir, you look like you haven't cracked a smile the entire night. I think we should direct this question at you. Remember when your children were young and you and the missus, you just fucking blast one in? And then the headboard woke them up? They're like, Dad, I had a nightmare about an earthquake. And they jump in the bed and you had to roll over to smother the wet spots so the boy one didn't come out gay. You remember that? Like, bear hug your mother. Just stay to your mom. Stay to your mom. Did you ever do that? That was hungry. Oh, man. Looks like he's gonna poke me with something. The chick I'm going out with, my lady, I think she's fucked more people than I have. Which I don't know how I feel. Like, what am I? I've fucked a lot of people. I'm not gonna put a number out there, but I've fucked at least 6 Amandas. Oh, you said your sister's Amanda? How old is she? I don't know, maybe. I've almost fucked an Amanda in every flavor. I did chocolate, vanilla, mango, and Tutti Frutti. I'm just kidding. The Tutti Frutti wasn't an Amanda. It was Amanda. Who hasn't done ecstasy? That's such a stupid joke. Oh, God. She asked me to choke her. She was like, choke me. I was like, I don't want to choke you. She's like, come on, I want to be choked. I was like, I don't want to choke you unless we're having an argument in the kitchen. You know what I mean? I'm a traditional values type of guy. But then she kept it up. We're in bed, she was like, choke me. I was like, I'm not gonna choke. She's like, choke me. So this is what I did instead. Instead, I leaned over and I whispered. I said, I'm never gonna do anything to hurt you because I love you, and I'm gonna take you everywhere and tell all my friends how much I love you. And she went, it's like, I don't need to fucking choke you. And then a couple of weeks later, I was sending her a meme off of Instagram, just like a funny meme. You know what I mean? Like just like a funny little thing that you share, you know? Maybe you guys have seen the meme. It was a classic one. The woman goes, I like a man that plans. And the guy goes, cool, I just drank pineapple juice this morning. And she goes, huh? And he goes, what? Just classically funny, right? And I sent it to her. I sent it to my girl. And she goes, yeah, that's just a myth. I said, listen, I don't really care about your myth busting right now. Just fucking laugh or don't laugh. You know what? I will choke you. You're getting choked. You're getting your wish. I was dating a gynecologist for a little while. It didn't work out. She was all right, just didn't work out. But I was on the road doing comedy, and she messaged me. And she goes, oh, I wish you were here right now. I'm so fucking horny, I'm ovulating. I guess these eggs are just gonna go to waste. And I was like, what? Because she had an IUD, right? And I don't know how anything works, right? She goes, yeah, I guess these eggs are just gonna fall out. And I was like, what? I go, how do the eggs fall out if the sperm can't get in? And she goes, you're such an idiot. The sperm can impregnate the egg. It just can't fucking embed in the lining of the uterus. So it just falls out. I go, it just falls out? She goes, yeah. I said, you mean to tell me I might have slurped up our baby? Remember, licensed gynecologist. And she said, I mean, yeah, maybe. And I was like, oh, you mean to tell me our baby might be in my belly? Oh, maybe I am pro-life. I gotta reconsider everything now. I gotta think about this. Oh, it's disgusting. I ghosted a chick when I first got divorced. I know it's a shitbag move, you know? But I think I had cause. Here's what happened. End of the third date, we went back to her place. You know, third date law. I was going down on her, talking squirrel, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Talking squirrel? Just down there. Talking squirrel. Driving her nuts. Oh, you're fucking laughing, motherfucker. Oh, I broke him. Yo! So I'm down there talking squirrel. And I noticed it's a little tinny. And I was like, is that iron? But I'm a big boy. I finish everything I start. Everything except college. So I keep going. We had sex. And then I go in the bathroom, I look down, just covered in blood. Like I staked a vampire. You don't know where the pubes end and the dick begins. It was brutal. And I went out there, I didn't want to embarrass her, right? So I said, hey, it was a little bit messy in there. And she goes, I thought I might have had my period. And I was like, oh, you greasy bitch. You thought maybe, and you still let me do that? Ah. Like, lie about it, you know? So I didn't call her for a few days. And I get a text, all caps, like, oh, that's it? You're ghosting me now? I said, ghost you? You fucking vamped me. I don't even drink and I left your place with wine teeth. You guys ever have an idea and you swear to God when it's rolling around in your head that it's a great idea and you don't know until you birth it into reality how wrong you are? That's the same way I feel about the time my dad was in the hospital dying of cancer and I got a stripper to come to his bedside. In my mind, it felt like the right move. Here's what happened. My dad was dying of cancer. I told you that. And I went on Facebook and I made a post. I said, hey guys, I'm going up to Toronto to see my dad in the hospital, probably for the last time. The only question is, do I bring a stripper? Obviously, I was joking. But most of my friends on Facebook are also comedians. And they are not a very good sounding board for this type of idea. The comments started coming in. Brilliant. Legendary. You'd be the best son. That one got me. Best son? Best son. My brother had been here in Toronto taking care of our ailing father for a year. If I could swoop in and steal best son with one stripper, I gotta shoot that shot. And I didn't go to the best high school growing up, so I know me a couple strippers. So I call up the one stripper I know that hadn't overdosed. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I only know one. She's actually fine. She couldn't do the gig because she does OnlyFans now. And I was like, hey, I get it. Everybody wants to work remote, right? So she goes, let me make a couple of calls. And she did. She found like a young, hungry go-getter, you know, a real upstart. An eager beaver, so to speak. And she showed up a couple days later in the parking lot. And I was like, hey, thanks for doing this. My dad's a big fan of the arts. You know, just gassing her up, making her feel valued. And then I said, you mind taking a COVID test? Fuck off. It was the end of 2022 and I was bringing a stripper into a hospice care unit. I wasn't trying to wipe out the floor with stripper COVID, right? And she was like, you can never be too safe. And we got the little swirly test. Remember the swirly test that you had to? And she started off and she was just doing like the rim of the nostril. And I was like, no, deeper, deeper. And she got a little deeper. And I was like, deeper. And she was like, and I was like, now spin it around. And then we waited 3 songs. And she was negative. And then we made our ascent to the hospital room. We got up there, and my dad was like a little confused, right? He was like, oh, and I was like, oh, Dad, this is my friend. And I was like, get changed. And then she came out, like wearing next to nothing, and I was like, Dad, this isn't my friend at all, it's a stripper. I was so excited. My dad, significantly less excited. Maybe intrigued, right? Now, I wasn't trying to get my dad laid or anything even close. He was just on this sad-ass floor on a hospital where him and everybody around him was dying, and I was just trying to make him laugh and change the mood. And if his dick moved a little bit, bonus. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't trying to get a full 10, like, just to wake it up, you know? Like, hey, what's all that racket? Then, I remember. I don't really do impressions, but in case you weren't following along, that was an impersonation of my dad's dick. And I told the stripper, I said, hey, listen, this is gonna be easy work for you, all right? You don't gotta do nothing crazy. My dad's real sick. You don't gotta give him a lap dance or nothing. Just like, maybe just do a little 2-step at the foot of his bed with your titties out, you know? Like Britney Spears' Instagram, you know? And for 90 seconds, she seemed to get the assignment. And it was a nice little family event for 90 seconds. Until she asked the question, do you want to touch it?
Oh my God.
A rhetorical question for a stripper, I'm sure. But my dad did not want to touch it. He just couldn't communicate that because the tumor was pushing on that part of his brain that allowed him to speak. So as he lay there, she just dropped her ass on his hand. And as soon as that ass hit the hand, he just looked at me. And it reminded me of that scene from Forrest Gump. You know the scene where he's up in the hotel room with Lieutenant Dan and the prostitutes? And the prostitute takes his hand and is like, you want to touch my tit, dummy? And he's like, Jenny! That's how he was looking at me, like, Jenny! Only he couldn't speak, but I know disappointment in my father's eyes when I see it. I've been disappointing him for decades, right? So he's looking at me, and I was like, oh, shit. Is he not enjoying this? So I had to pull an audible, right? I was like, hey, he's looking pretty tired. Maybe we should wrap this up. And she was so sweet. She goes, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this healing process. Oh yeah, he's all healed. There's a 200 Canadian. And she left, and my dad was just looking at me, and I was like, well, that was different, right, Pop? And then I thought about some of those Facebook comments, like, what man wouldn't want this? And now I know the answer. One that's trying to get into heaven in the 11th hour. And here comes his son trotting at a stripper at 11:55. Like, one more for the road, Papa. I took a picture of that moment, and I posted on Instagram a couple of months later, and it went a little viral. I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 million people saw it. And one of those people was my ex-wife. And she said, you know, one day our daughter's gonna come across that picture. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know. And if she's a kid when it happens, I'm just gonna tell her that it was AI. And the Russians hacked my phone, you know? But if she's an adult, it's gonna be a very different conversation. I'm just gonna say, hey, listen, I was just trying to cheer Grandpa up. Me and Grandpa had a different relationship. But unlike Grandpa, Daddy knows he's not getting into heaven. And we got traditions in this family, baby girl. That is, if you want to be the best daughter. Guys, thank you so much for coming out, everybody. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you. Thanks all the hooligans for coming out tonight.
Ha